I keep hearing interest rates are going down. Well, not so fast. There's been a lot of talk and chatter that the interest rates were going to be cut by the feds in May and possibly 2 or 3 times total this year. Hi, I'm Pam Flesher, a Wichita, Kansas Realtor with J.P. Wygand & Sons. I'm making this video to help you understand the current market conditions. If you learn anything new in this video, please leave me a like and subscribe to the channel. You can also book a consultation with me on the first link in the description. Here's a quote from the Wall Street Journal. Inflation eased again in January, but came in above Wall Street's expectations, clouding the Federal Reserve's path to rate cuts and potentially giving the central bank breathing space to wait until the middle of the year. The desired inflation rate is about 2%, and the feds were hoping that the rate would be headed there at a quicker pace. Well, what does inflation and interest rates have to do with each other? Inflation and interest rates tend to move in the same direction because interest rates are the primary tool used by the U.S. Central Bank to manage inflation. The CPI, or Consumer Price Index, rose higher than expected. When the Consumer Price Index rises, it means consumer prices are also rising, and when it falls, it means consumer prices are also falling. This in turn means that a high CPI indicates higher inflation. What is the Consumer Price Index? It is the average change in price over time of a market basket of consumer goods and services. Sounds confusing, doesn't it? Just know that this Consumer Price Index also affects inflation. The feds have an upcoming meeting on March 20th, and economists predicted the first rate cut would come then. Now the prediction is closer to June or after. When inflation growth is worse than expected, mortgage rates often rise, so we may even see somewhat higher mortgage rates over the coming weeks. But the National Association of Realtors' chief economist, Lawrence Yun, is hoping rates will settle close to 6% by the end of the year. Here is a quote from Lawrence Yun that sums this up in a way that is understandable. The desired inflation is 2%, and the latest rise of 3.1% Consumer Price Index in January is not yet comfortable. The Federal Reserve will not cut the interest rate in the first half of this year, in my view. But rate cuts of 3, 4, or even 5 rounds will be possible in the second half of the year. Mortgage rates will be bouncy week to week, but will most likely settle towards 6% by the end of the year. What does this mean for buyers hoping to buy at a lower rate or even refinance a high-rate mortgage? The potential rate cut that was anticipated possibly March through May will most likely be pushed to June and possibly even further. So if you're waiting for a significant rate cut to buy a home, the wait may be much longer than anticipated. If you are convinced that deep cuts are just over the horizon, you may end up quite disappointed.